Hi everyone. Hi Nano.
Hello everyone. Hi
How's it
Ghada.
going? I hope we have everyone on the call joined, but we can give it 2 minutes for everyone to join in. So during those 2 minutes, like to mention that last week we've launched our quarterly updates, where we mention most of our features that have been in the release during the quarter. We mentioned the financial KPIs and a couple of others, so please feel free to check them out. We'll be sharing with you all of the attendees the quarterly update link, so feel free to check it out. Nano, how are you feeling today?
I'm well. I'm here in the office today. You are at home, no?
Yeah, a sick day called for being home.
Yeah. It's been raining today.
Yeah, it's been raining like crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know if you also have another screen, but I'll be mainly looking to the other place. So if anyone wondering where
Yeah,
my
I
eyes
also have
are,
two screens. Yeah, I will be sharing in the other one.
on the other one.
The screen.
Perfect. Okay, I
Yeah.
think we can
Let's
give it
wait
another
one more
minute
minute, no? Yeah.
as well as see. And then we can go ahead and start. Hope we have more attendees coming in. And yeah, while we wait for this minute, I also would like to remind you that please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the questionnaire tab. Nan and I will be answering all of your questions by the end of the call, but that does not mean that you need to wait by the end to ask any questions that cross your mind. So please feel free to drop them in. Okay, shall we start? So welcome everyone to Boosting PV Project Profitability with Advanced Financial KPIs with both myself, I am Ghada, Territory Manager of EMEA, responsible for the Middle East market, Nordics, and Africa and India. And I'm joined today with my colleague Nano, who is a product owner. Nano, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Nano or Bernardino Martín. I'm product owner at RatedPower and focus on the generation side, so basically on the PV part. And yeah, today we are going to be presenting the financial KPIs feature that we launched this year, and we have been releasing several updates. So yeah, today we are going to present the last two updates about energy price definition and operational cost definition also.
Yes, it's one of the best updates that have been introduced yet, and many to come soon. So we will start off with explaining, I will highlight the common challenges and what financial KPIs we have introduced for our partners. And as Nano will go into the second section of the financial KPIs, he'll be running, will showcasing for you why running financial KPIs early in the development phase is essential for success. And then, as I said, please feel free to drop in any questions that you have, and we'll be having last 10 minutes for Q&A for answering all of your questions. So, RatedPower. I'm sure many of you are already aware of what we do at RatedPower right now, but for those who don't, where have you been? So, what would usually take days, maybe weeks, we accomplish in minutes. How so? Our software optimizes the plan design by choosing the best layout and engineering components automatically. What do you need to do? All you need to do is basically input your project requirements and it will do the rest for you with just a push of a button. And since our webinar today is focused on how to boost your PV plan's profitability with advanced financial KPIs, I want to share with you the financial KPIs we have introduced to RatedPower. But firstly, and before going ahead into specific each one of that we have launched, let's talk about the challenges and importance of early financial KPI analysis. As you're aware, utility scale solar projects face significant financial challenges, from managing high upfront costs to securing financing and predicting long-term returns, right? So based on my experience and based on the partners, what they've shared, we found that the common challenges in utility scale PV developments are commonly the high capital expenditure, the uncertain energy yield and revenue, financing and access to capital, operation and maintenance costs. And you also have regulatory risks. So those are the common challenges. But the important question, what is the importance of early financial KPIs analysis? And if you know, I would like to hear them from you also in the questions if you know that as well, or we can have a conversation about it later on. At least from our point of view, the importance of early financial KPIs analysis is that one, visibility and investor confidence with financial KPIs such as the NPV or the IRR. It provides a clear understanding of project profitability, helping to attract investors and secure financing for your projects. Second, I would say the designing optimization. So running financial KPIs will allow developers to tweak technical aspects like layout, components, to maximize the returns before committing to significant resources. And third, it would be risk mitigation. So early stage analysis help to anticipate the financial risks such as cost overruns or regulatory changes, reducing the likelihood of costly surprises later, right? And then finally, in my opinion, it would be the resource efficiency. So by assessing financial viability earlier, developers focus on the most profitable projects, saving time and resources. So with those challenges covered and ensured you have early analysis, you ensure for project viability. In RatedPower, you'll be able to uncover the following KPIs that we have here in the screen that I'm sure that you've got to read through them while I was explaining the common challenges and the importance. Earlier during the years, we have launched the CAPEX model where you are when you introduce it, you'll be able to understand from your project the total price, specific price, and the levelized cost of energy. And just recently, within, I believe in Q2 to Q3, we have launched one of the greatest financial KPIs for our partners, which include the net present value, the difference between present value of the revenue and all operating costs, the internal rate of return, the return of investment, the payback, and the discounted payback. Yeah, so with that said, those are the financial KPIs that you'll be able to achieve within RatedPower for your early stage development, which covers with RatedPower the feasibility analysis, conceptual design, or even requesting for proposals. So now you have almost a complete package for your developments. Yeah, I think you're done with me talking, so I'm going to move to Nano to showcase to you the power of financial KPIs. Nano, would you like to share with
Thank
us
you.
how to do that?
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, I think I'm sharing it. Can you see my
Mhm.
screen? Perfect.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so yeah, today I will show you two cases, okay, one in Spain and another in Germany. But before we start with the case studies, I will show you a bit how to check those KPIs that you are explaining now inside the software, okay? So when you have a design, you can open it, then you have already run, and here on the left side we have the financial outputs, okay? So for example, for this iteration that I did, where I set, let me check here in the financial tab my inputs. I set a fixed price of 35 euros or dollars per megawatt hours as a like a PPA price, a fixed price, okay? And I got here my results. So here you can see how to check them. So you can check the total price, basically the capex of the PV plant, the specific price, and this is basically the capex divided by the peak power, the levelized cost of energy. So it's the average cost of the PV plant, taking into consideration the whole lifetime of the PV plant. The net present values to explain already, internal rate of return, return on investment, payback, and discounted payback. We also have some charts so we can see the evolution of those KPIs along the years. So for the net present values, we can see here it starts with the minus the capex, basically the initial investment, and we can see how we start recovering the investment until the payback year in the year around the year 10 in this case, and then we keep growing. Like this is the accumulated free cash flow. So basically, it's like all the accumulated cash flows of the plant, and then we have the discounted accumulated free cash flow. that is equivalent to the net present value. Okay, and the one of the last year is the one that we take into consideration as an output. Then we have the internal rate of return, also the evolution. We can see here the payback period again, in the year 10, where it changed signs from negative to positive, the levelized cost of energy, and the evolution, the cash flows. So we can see here the initial investment, the revenue of every year, and the operational expense. Here in this case, we can see that the revenue is increasing every year because we have an escalation factor for the revenue. We'll show it later. It's here under the bubble window. And the return on investment. So basically, we start with a minus 100%. That's the initial investment. And we end up in this case with 200%. So basically, we doubled the initial investment. Okay. Yeah, here we have the escalation factor. As you saw, even if we have a degradation, that you can change it here in the PV module losses. Okay, as the degradation is smaller than the escalation factor of the revenue, we were having more revenues every year, but you can change this input and check the several scenarios. Okay, now that we already checked the outputs here, let's go to check the case scenario. So the first one is here in Spain. So I wanted to show you how to use the variable price option. So here you can basically decide if you want to set a fixed price, a PPA price, during the whole lifetime with an escalation factor that will increase year by year, or if you want to define an hourly price. Okay, if you want to define an hourly price, I would recommend you to check this guide here, where you can also download the templates. Okay, so we have some templates in 3 formats. So the first format is 12 by 24 hours. So basically, you define like a typical day for each month of the year. Okay, so you have 12 days, 12 typical days. Then you have the other option that is a similar option to defining like an hour for each. So a one energy value for each hour of the year. This is similar to having like a TMY file, a typical meteorological year. So we match these prices with the meteorological file and we run the simulation. And then the last one is the same as the typical meteorological year, but for 50 years maximum. That this is the maximum number of years of simulation that we have inside the software. So you can upload up to 50 years of hourly values, a lot of values. So I wanted to show you how to use this tool. So in this case, as I'm not an expert doing price prediction of energy, what I did, as we're working in Spain, I went to this web page of Red Eléctrica Española, where you can basically download the prices for every day of the year. So if you click here, you can select a time frame when you want to start within the data and where you want to end. Basically, I downloaded the data for the last 4 years, and I have them here in this Excel file. So here we can see from 2020 to in this case it was until today, until 2024. Okay, and yeah, I got all this data and I converted it in a 12 by 24 analysis, as we were talking before. So here in this case, I can decide which years I want to consider. So if I consider the prices of 2020, I will create like this format of energy prices that I can upload to RatedPower later. Or if I want to consider the average of all the years, I can also do it like this. So in this case, it's the average price for every month of the past years. Just as a reminder, the prices of the past doesn't reflect the future prices, so we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and you will have to do your own predictions. But I wanted to study a bit this case, so I checked all the years and I took the worst month of every year. So basically, the worst February in this case was in, if I'm not wrong, in 2020. The worst February was in 2021. Also 2024, as you know, has been a really volatile year, so we have also worse prices during this. We have been having worse prices of the last 4 years during this year. Okay, let's check, for example, here 2024 to see the volatility. So as you can see here, you can see the dark curve. So basically during the sun hours, we have really low prices. Okay, this is a bit dangerous for solar PV. So that's why it's important to sign a PPA. And we're going to check it today. Okay, so I create this worst case scenario. That is this one here. Okay, taking several months from different years. And I upload it to RatedPower. So let me go back to the project. And here in revenue, you can see the worst case scenario. I run the design, and in this case, even taking the worst months for the last 4 years, we still are getting a positive net present value. Okay, you can see it here. So we are still positive. The payback period is 10 years. It's a bit too long, but it's not. Yeah, it's not that bad. Taking into account that it's the worst case. The internal rate of return is higher than the discount rate. That's why we have a positive net present value. So yeah, just for you to understand also the concept, if you set the internal rate of return as the same as the discount rate, we will get a net present value of 0 or around 0 because we need more decimals. And the discounted payback will be exactly the full years of operation. So in this case, we have 25 years of operation, and we can see that the net present value is equal to 0. Okay, that's the definition of the internal rate of return. When you make the net present value 0, changing it by the discount rate. So yeah, and I compare this worst case scenario with signing a PPA of 65 euros per megawatt hour. And as you can see, it's much better the PPA, okay? Because we are getting a 10% of internal rate of return versus 7.5%. The return on investment is also higher. It's almost 200% versus 130%. Also, net present value is higher. Yeah. So it's the same, basically the same design, just changing the prices, okay? The prices profile. And I also wanted to try the average case, so I took the average of the last years. And in this case, we can see that this is a payback of 4 years, so we will recover really fast the initial investment and a 25% internal rate of return. This is a really high internal rate of return. So even having a lot of volatility during the past years, as you can see in this plot here, we also got really high prices in 2021, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, by the end of 2021. So yeah, these green years are pushing up the prices and the others down. Okay, so yeah, this is regarding the revenue profiles, and I also wanted to show you about the Opex definition. So now you can define an Opex based on the hectares or the AC capacity or also a fixed price. So in this case, I wanted to do an analysis on the cost of the land and how it's important to consider it from the beginning, especially if you want to run batch optimizations. Okay, so let me go to the project in Germany. So here in this project, I already have this base case where I define the first scenario. I will run, in this case, we will run a fixed price of 50 euros per megawatt hour, but we will be increasing the cost of euros per hectares, okay, like the rental cost. So we'll start with 1,000, okay, euros per hectare. I will run a batch design, changing the pitch distance instead of in steps of 1.5 meters. So yeah, we'll run first this. Oh, let me change the name so I can identify it later. So in this case, it will be 1,000. For 2000, I will do it with 2000. And then instead of 1.5 meters, I will generate these 10 designs. And then I want to generate another 10 ones with 10,000 euros per hectare. So this is a really exaggerated case, but just for you to check the differences. And so we'll run the same batch, so basically the same simulations, but with a different land cost, and we'll compare them, okay? So let me save all these designs. So yeah, let me go back to the project to show you. So we have the first batch simulation here. So for the first batch, we have already 10 designs. I will compare them. If we go here in the data table, we can add the data that we want to analyze, but I will go directly to the charts. And I have already selected the ones dependent on the ground cover ratio, okay? That is equivalent to the pitch and we want to analyze. So in this case, we can see that the maximum internal rate of return is around, with a GCR around of 20%. You can see it here also. Okay, for the payback and for the discounted payback, okay? So it's almost around the 20 or 25 is the optimal value for this land cost, okay? For the net present value is a bit different, we will check that later. And now I want to compare the two cases, so with 10,000 versus 2,000. And here we can see how the maximum is different. No? In the top line here is the case with the 2,000 euros per hectare. So, and the maximum, as we saw, was around 20. But if we start increasing the land cost, the maximum will be moving to the right, towards the right. So basically, we are increasing the GCR, or we are putting the structures closer. So the higher the land cost, the shorter the pitch, the final pitch that we will have. Okay. As I wanted to show you this more in detail, what I did is I created a data table here, and I added all the KPIs, including the pitch and the GCR also. And as you know, you can download this data to work in Excel better. Okay, so I took this data and I put it here. So basically, I exported all the cases with different land costs, increasing from 0 up to 10,000. And I created several plots here. So here we can compare the net present value. In this case, we can see that the pitch distance, so the ultimate pitch distance doesn't depend on the land cost for the net present value. We always get the same output, but if we start changing the KPI that we analyze, for example, the levelized cost of energy, we can see how it shifted to the left in this case. So we are reducing the pitch, or if we check the GCR, we're increasing the GCR. So if we don't consider a land cost, basically we say that the land is for free, and we don't consider it at the beginning, we will get always the maximum pitch of the range. As you remember, we were launching batch designs from 2.5 meters up to 16. So the optimal value is the maximum one if we don't consider the land cost. But this is not realistic. You will keep increasing the pitch and the pitch and the pitch, and yeah, that doesn't make sense. So if you start including the land cost, this optimal value goes rapidly to the left. So a realistic value for Germany will be land cost of between 2,000 and 4,000 euros per hectare. So we'll be between these 2 points here. This is a pitch between 10 and 8.5 meters, okay, or a GCR around 25. Okay, so yeah, you can see how it's important to consider this from the beginning because it changes a lot the optimal design. Okay, we can also change here the variable that we want to plot. So if you want to plot the internal rate of return, we can see how it changes. I will share this Excel file with you so you can also use it for your own analysis later. And you just have to download the data, paste it here, and maybe change some a bit the formulas. But for example, yeah, for the internal rate of return again, we get more or less the same behavior. If you start increasing the land cost, the pitch is being reduced or the GCR is increasing. And yeah, what you can do also with the other variables is the payback, the return on investment. And yeah, with the discounted payback is a bit strange. We get these strange plots because if you go here to net present value, you can see when we have negative net present value, we don't reach the discounted paybacks. We never have the discounted payback, so it goes to zero in the Excel variable. So yeah, that's the case that I wanted to show you. It's important, really important to consider the land cost, and it's also important to do an analysis of merchant versus PPA. So those are the two analyses that I wanted to show you that you can do with RatedPower and this new feature. Yeah, thank you. That's it. I know, Ghada, if you wanna keep sharing the slides.
I'll go ahead and share the slides. Thank you, Nano. That was a great explanation. I wanted to ask you quick two questions from my side, though, before we go ahead. One question that I've received before is, what is the escalation factor?
Okay, the escalation factor is basically it's like an inflation rate. We have a default value rate power of 2% because it's basically the objectives of the central bank, so to keep the inflation around 2%. So, and usually when you sign a PPA, or also with the operational cost, like the contracts, you fix like a price, and for example, it will be attached like increase or the decrease to the consumer price index. So the consumer price index would be like an escalation factor used for the models.
Perfect.
It's
Thank you,
the
Nano.
increase of the revenues and increase of the costs at the same time.
Perfect. Thank you, Nano, for clearing that out. So for everyone, thank you. This is basically how you'd be maximizing your profits of your PV projects using RatedPower's financial KPIs. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And yeah, what's your questions? Please feel free to drop in any questions. And while we wait for your questions, I would like to mention quickly the Trends Report survey for 2025. As you know, we've been doing this since 2022, and we're continuing to do so. It's been a great success with your help, of course. Please feel free to participate with our survey and have a chance of winning a €50 Amazon gift card or donate to your preferred NGO. I'll be happy to take in your expertise into this so we can build a trends report that is useful for everyone. So, any questions? Nano, do you possibly have any questions also? Or would like to raise any awareness?
No, I don't have questions, and I don't see questions in the chat box. So
Yeah, not yet as for this moment. Yeah, for anyone who's wondering or has any questions, I see one question popped up.
okay, I see a question here. Would it be possible in the future to have the best values determined with your method analyzed by artificial intelligence directly? Okay, this
Good
is
question.
a really interesting question. Uh, so it will be really interesting to have artificial intelligence inside the software, but we don't have it for now. I mean, for these batch designs, but yeah, we are exploring some solutions for the future maybe. But yeah, I can explain much for now.
Great
Thank
one.
you
Also,
for your question.
another question, Nano. So it says you presented a nice financial assessment, but I didn't see anything about risk assessment. Can you elaborate?
Good question. So we don't focus on risk assessment. So basically, you can use our tool to evaluate the different case scenarios. For example, as I show you, changing the land cost or changing the revenue profile. And you can, yeah, basically it can help you to do the risk assessment, but yeah, we don't provide like a report or something explaining that. I can show you if you want. I can download the file and show you the file because I haven't done it. Let me share my screen again.
Go ahead.
Okay, so for example, if you go for one of the Germany projects as we just launched, I will go for the optimal one. In this case was for, yes, the pitch of 11.5. Anyways, I will take this one, random one. So we can go here to the documentation and download the financial analysis.
And while we do that, they also asked, what are you optimizing, the levelized cost of energy and PV, or both at the same time, Nano?
So in this case, I was optimizing all of them at the same time. Okay, wait, I will show first the report.
Risk.
So here we have the first page, the financial analysis, where you can see the CapEx, the operational cost for every year, also the revenue coming from the energy sales, the EBITDA, free cash flow, accumulated free cash flow, and all the KPIs here. Okay, you have also the plots that we saw in the interface before. You have them here, and in the other tabs you have the capex, the average revenue, so you can see the energy price for each hour and the revenue or purchase if you are consuming from the grid, and the operational cost that it considers the energy purchase also that we saw before, plus the cost defined by the user. Okay, those are the values. In this case, we were considering only land cost and peak power costs. And regarding the second question, what I was optimizing, so basically I was checking I was downloading all the variables and was changing the pitch. So it was just an example, but here I have the optimal values. So depending on the land cost, I have all the optimal pitch here. So for example, if we go for the case of between 2000 or 4000, that is the typical prices in Germany, we can see that the pitch distance will be between, so 8.5 for all of the KPIs except for net present value, that we saw that it was always constant. And in this case, we have pitches between 10 and 13, okay? So yeah, as you can see, you can optimize several variables at the same time and check maybe which one is more important for you. And sometimes it's the same. In this case, it was the same for all the KPIs, for example.
Perfect.
Mhm.
That's great. We received also one question that asked if the graphs can be exported as PDFs. I'm not sure if that is possible, correct?
Not for now. So these graphs here I did it by myself, so they are not available in the software. And the other ones are exported in Excel file. I don't know if you can somehow download, like print it or something like that. I've never
Yeah,
tried, but maybe you can download a copy in PDF from the Excel file, or
I saw.
yeah, yeah, we
Perfect.
don't want to provide it for now. Also, will be interesting in the future maybe to have like a report with all the plots. So good feedback. I will take notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nano. Perfect. Any questions?
Yeah, I think Brian is asking for a copy of the recording. If you
Yeah,
mean of this
I shared
session, we will. Yeah, okay. We will share the
the
recording
recording
later.
with all of the attendees.
Exactly, and also the analysis that I did in the Excel file. This one. Okay, we'll stop sharing.
Perfect. We can show the last screen for me. So please, if there's no any more questions or you want to have separate questions, please feel free to drop us, me or Nano, to our emails, and we'll be happy to assist you or take you through a private demo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.